In this lesson, we will create a global control for our airship. A global control is designed to globally transform our characters and objects. For character animation, if the character needs to be repositioned in your scene, you'd use the global control for that. You can also use it to rescale your character. In our case, this is going to be very convenient to add because we can connect the global control to an animation path and then animate offsets on our main ship control, since it will not be locked down by any type of constraint. We're free to still animate on this object. So let's say we get to work. What I'll do is open up the Explorer, and all we'll need to do is grab our ship control and create a transform group. So again, we'll use the hotkey Shift /. So you can see now, if we were to take that transform group and start to move that around, we are now controlling the entire ship. We can rotate it, create a rotational offset. What's neat about that is now we can go to our ship control, and if we move locally, we can just right-click and choose Parent. Notice now, if the ship needed to move forward in this direction, we can have it, in this case, translate forward in the Z-axis, and notice no other axes will be affected. So that's another really neat thing about the global transform node. If we try to do that without, let's say if we were to undo, grab our animation control, again rotate it, go to our move tool, it's still set to parent, but you'll see that the manipulator is not oriented to the ship simply because the parent object has not been oriented so. So let's try to move in that same direction. Well, if we go ahead and do that, you'll see all of these position parameters are going to be updated. What that means is that this is going to lead to more cleanup work in our animation editor. So that's another benefit of working with a global control system. All right, well, let's go ahead and take this, rename it. We can simply call this global move. More often than not, if you are taking a look at a control object or control rig, you'll find that an object is created in the scene. We don't necessarily need that object at all in the scene. It's just a way to quickly go in and grab it, but we'll be just fine working with this transform node. If you'd like to learn more about setting up global controls and animation controls in general, feel free to look into our Introduction to Character Rigging course in Softimage. Alright, well, our global control has been set up. It's as simple as that. Notice we also have scale control. Speaking of which, later on we'll want to get rid of these scale parameters and any other parameters that we should not animate on. That will make it clear to the animator how to transform the animation control, and that will also lead to less cleanup work in the animation editor. So for instance, we'd also want to do the same thing for the character's head control, getting rid of position and scale since we will only want to control rotation. But we'll get to that shortly. In the next lesson, what we'll do is discuss joint chains in Softimage.